You ever hear the one about PoppyPlaytime? 10 years ago, everyone inside that factory vanished. No emergency call, no fire, no cleanup, just locked doors and silence. Since then, the story spread like mold. Tales about machines that still hummed in the dark, toys that screamed. Most folks call it a hoax, a publicity stunt, another urban myth manufactured from rust and fear. But legends don't send videotapes. The envelope arrived unmarked, no return address, just a single slip of paper. On it, "We're still here. Find the flower." And inside was a dusty cassette labeled Poppy. The tape rolled like a broadcast from another life, the vintage Poppy commercial, a 1950s production. Clean, charming, a little too perfect for me.
The most incredible doll ever invented. Her name is Poppy, and she is the first truly intelligent doll in the world. A little girl can talk to her. Poppy gives her answers. She is the first doll actually able to have a conversation with a child. Hard to believe? Just watch.
PoppyPlaytime!
Poppy's as lovable as a real girl, and she talks like one, too.
Hi, my name is Poppy. I love you. Can you help me polish my shoes?
Why, of course, Poppy. Just like a real girl, Poppy always wants to look her best.
Perfect! Thank you.
Her hair is sturdy and won't come out when you brush it, and smells just like a poppy flower. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Poppy?
I'm a real girl, just like you.
What's the time?
Playtime!
And if you've ever wanted to see how all of the nation's favorite toys were created, Playtime Co. is now offering factory tours at just $2.99 a person. An entire hour in the most magical toy factory on Earth. What are you waiting for? Come visit the factory. We can't...
The commercial ended with a red poppy blooming above the doors of a factory. I mean, that was the message. Find the flower. But before its collapse, Playtime Co. was the crown jewel of American toy making. Founded in the 1930s, it grew from handmade wooden animals to mechanical dolls, interactive companions. By the 1950s, it was a cultural juggernaut. But success faded. By the 70s, the market shifted. Dolls weren't enough. Profits sank. And behind the scenes, the company changed direction. That's when Dr. Harley Sawyer took the reins of its secret research wing. A former military biologist, Sawyer was brilliant, unhinged, and perfectly suited for what came next. He spearheaded the Bigger Bodies Initiative, a classified program deep beneath the factory floor. No longer just plastic and plush, Sawyer's goal was something real. Toys that could move, listen, follow orders, not programmed, but engineered. Tissues, tendons, intelligence. He was creating life. While Sawyer built the monsters, Lath Pierce sold the dream. As head of innovation, he became the company's mascot in human form. Chipper, fast-talking, always smiling, he hosted training tapes, safety videos, corporate rollouts. But Pierre didn't invent, he distracted. His job was to keep the surface clean while the rot spread below. So when the investigator stepped into the long dead lobby 10 years later, the posters and pre-recorded greetings weren't nostalgia, they were camouflage. Upon entering the facility, a green VHS tape can be found, labeled Lath Pierre Closing. The tape played.
Hi, My name is Leith Pierre, and I'm the head of innovation here at the Playtime Co. Toy Factory. If you're seeing this, then you're trespassing. Yeah, we play this little tape on loop whenever we close the factory for the day. So, trespasser, just to make you aware, while we pride ourselves primarily on our high-quality toys and excellent child care, we also pride ourselves on our security. For example, this facility is full of hidden motion triggers, which, once set off, will turn on the factory's emergency alarms and directly contact the authorities. And that's one of the more tame aspects of our security system. No spoilers. So, you've got my warning. It's not too late to turn around. I just hope that you're certain whatever you're doing is worth it.
This tape was weird. Leith Pierre talked about the security systems, about there being motion detectors, but he also mentioned that these were the less tame security protocols. What could he be talking about? This tape didn't seem like a warning. It seemed like a threat. The investigator continued. To access the factory's inert systems, the investigator retrieved a blue grab pack, a two-handed wearable device used by factory staff to interact with remote objects and reroute electricity. It attached with a solid click, wires and tubes tight against his arms. The first sign on the wall read, "Welcome to Playtime," and in the middle, Huggy Wuggy. Not a toy, not a costume, a statue. Nearly 18 feet tall. His fur was matted blue, and his proportions inhuman. He stood like an idol built to watch over the children, and now seems to be standing guard over silence. He towered. And after restoring power via the rerouting panels, the building surged with false life. Lights flickered, machines groaned, the air crackled. When the investigator turned back towards the statue, Huggy Wuggy was gone. No footsteps, no sound, nothing. The kind of silence that raises the hairs on your arm. The kind that watches back. The innovation sector was a maze of conveyor belts and broken toys, rusting prototypes, a place built for progress but seemed abandoned. Scattered among the terminals were hints, VHS tapes. That's where the story bled through. PoppyPlaytime wasn't a code name for a toy line. It was the company's secret initiative to bind biology with machinery. Not for fun, not for kids, but for control. The first real success, Poppy. Created from synthetic tissue, nerves, designed to be intelligent, obedient, but more importantly, alive. Playtime Co. hadn't made a toy. They made something more. Deeper inside was the Make a Friend station, a toy assembly line still sputtering with power. The investigator reactivated it, assembling a toy and using it to open the path ahead. And written on the wall, "No one leaves without a toy." The investigator stepped through the door, but then Huggy Wuggy, alive. His teeth are arranged in multiple layers like a shark. The investigator ran through crawl spaces, maintenance shafts, conveyor drops. He was above, behind, ahead, moving with unnatural speed like liquid through steel. The factory wasn't housing him, it was feeding him. Written on the walls of the maintenance shafts, warnings, run, don't stop. But they were written in children's chalk. It's confusing, but the investigator had no time to think. He had to run. Eventually, he escapes the maintenance shaft. Above him, a crate. The investigator grabs it with his grab pack. It falls. It struck Huggy, full force. He falls, spiraling down into the darkness below. But he left something behind. Blood? Not oil, not ink. Something alive just hit the floor. And then the factory went silent again. This wasn't peace. It was a warning. Huggy Wuggy was Experiment 1170, created under the Bigger Bodies Initiative. He wasn't just built for scale, he was engineered to think. This was the security measure that Pierre was talking about. He was often stationary in the main lobby of the factory, his right arm raised in the gesture that the company referred to as the welcoming wave. At the end of the path, painted on the wall in red, a poppy. The same image from the tape. Through a door inside a long forgotten chamber, the subject found a glass case. And inside, Poppy. Porcelain skin, red lips, glassy eyes that tracked movement. She didn't breathe, but she was alive. The investigator opened the case.
You opened my case.
Waking Poppy wasn't the end, it was an ignition switch. The moment her eyes opened, something changed in the factory. Not visibly, not structurally, but it was like the air had lifted, like the building taking its first breath in 10 years. The investigator approaches a door. Behind it, an office. Elliot Ludwig's office. Pictures can be seen on the wall here, children's drawings. But in one of the pictures, we see a little girl. Could this be his daughter? Another VHS can be found.
Playtime Co. is the product of a great man by the name of Elliot Ludwig. Divorced, but a family man at heart. His sights were always set on bringing amazing toys to amazing children around the globe. Ludwig spent countless hours in the factory, working overtime relentlessly in an attempt to continuously innovate and surprise. In the 1960s, an unfortunate family death had pushed Ludwig down to his lowest. But with so much ambition, he rose back up and continued to fulfill his vision for the Playtime Co. toy factory. Ludwig could never be content leaving a project unfinished. But just how did one man come to create such an astounding empire? How did he manage to stay determined even after suffering such a tragic loss? It all began in the fateful year of 19...
Poppy's voice trailed through broken speaker systems and duct vents, soft, uncertain, halfway between compassion and calculation.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was just trying to get the power back on. Here.
Her voice wasn't robotic, but it wasn't entirely human. She claimed she wanted to help and that there was an escape route through the train station. But prior to reaching the train station, something grabs Poppy.
Trust me.
In the next chamber, the game station loomed large. Bright murals, broken tracks. Descending from the ceiling came something worse. Mommy Longlegs. She slithered downward like melted bubblegum, arms and legs elastic, her smile wide, eyes locked on the investigator. Her tone syrupy sweet, but her presence made his skin crawl.
Oh, you're going to have so much fun. Head to musical memory and Mommy will get things started. Obey the rules, or I'll tear you apart and eat your insides while you're still alive.
Mommy Longlegs wasn't a mascot. Well, not originally. Experiment 1222. Mommy Longlegs was part of the Bigger Bodies initiative. Remember, the same one that Huggy Wuggy was a part of. She was designed to appeal to children, but function as an intelligent and elastic security model. Made in the 1990s, she showed high cognitive response, memory retention, and an obsessive maternal fixation on order and punishment. She wasn't just violent, she was methodical. Playtime Co. used her not only for PR, but for internal discipline. Her mind unraveled after years of neglect and isolation. The investigator had a simple choice: play these games or die. The first game, Musical Memory. A humid chamber lined with oversized Simon Says pads. From above, suspended by a cable, hung a mutated drummer rabbit, Bunzo Bunny. Originally designed as a rhythm toy, Bunzo was repurposed through biological experimentation. His audio processing cortex was enhanced to match tempo and pattern recognition. But his brain rejected balance. Now all that remains was rage layered under repetition. The game starts off easy, but every wrong answer triggered his descent. Cymbals clashing louder, closer, clang, clang, clang. He wasn't performing, he was starving. A few rounds later, the game becomes impossibly difficult. The only way for the investigator to survive is to hit the emergency stop sequence. But he survives and continues to the second game. Whack a Huggy. A padded room lined with darkness and circular vents. Out came dozens of mini Wuggies, small, silent, their painted smiles twitching just beneath the dim lighting. They moved fast and attacked faster. This wasn't reflex training, it was fear calibration. The investigator only had the grab pack to hold them back. It became clear these weren't toys, they were data points in some cruel research protocol. At the end, the investigator approached a locked gate. But something opened it from the dark. Kissy Missy, a monster eerily similar to Huggy Wuggy, but pink and silent. It unlocked the door and then vanished. Was she helping or was she following protocol? The final game room was deceptively cheerful, a childlike obstacle course with shifting lights and music. PJ Pugapillar, a creature stitched together from the wrong ideas, part dog, part caterpillar. He was a hybrid experiment designed for stealth-based pursuit. His segmented body allowed him to move through tight spaces, vents, tubes, but his mind never stabilized. His behavior became unpredictable, obsessive. His game was simple: move when the lights go out, freeze when they come on. As the investigator continually moved forward, PJ Pugapillar was always behind, always moving, almost as if he was stalking his prey. The investigator, continually looking back, would see Pugapillar moving, never stopping. However, the investigator escapes. The path leads to a water treatment plant, where the investigator has to acquire a toy to proceed further. But something is off. On one of the walls in the distance, there's blue fur and blood. Huggy Wuggy, still alive? There was no direct attack or sound, just proof. Experiment 117 wasn't finished. The investigator pushes forward. Another VHS is found, this time describing the workers complaining about seeing a giant spider roaming the facilities.
The following is a pre-recorded announcement to address the many complaints regarding an alleged very, very big spider crawling around in the facility. The Playtime Corporation wants me to remind you all that spiders that big do not exist. Regardless, you can all rest assured the company is sending some specialists down here to have a look around and relieve the constant whining.
But then Mommy Longlegs dives from the ceiling. Her voice cracked. Her tone changed.
We're going to play one last game. It's called Hide and Seek. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
The interesting part here is Mommy Longlegs doesn't chase you. She just counted. Eventually, the investigator finally returned power to the generator. But from the shadows, Mommy Longlegs reappears. This time, she chased. She pursued the investigator through service corridors, prototype disposal zones, and ventilation nests. Her limbs could stretch around corners. Her whispers reached through walls. This wasn't a chase. It was an extermination. In the factory's underbelly, the subject reached a power room with a massive grinder. But Mommy Longlegs followed. The investigator reaches a closed door. Using his blue hand on the grab pack to open it, Mommy Longlegs chases, running down the corridor.
What have you done? You make me part of you. You can't do this to me.
Mommy Longlegs is finally dead. But then something from the shadows drags her away. Long limbs, serrated edges. This is the first glimpse of the prototype, Experiment 1006.
Log code 08502. In relation, Experiment 1006. The prototype. A close call occurred this week in which he nearly breached containment. The prototype seemingly disassembled the digital alarm clock within his room and utilized the battery, along with several other components, to create a laser pointer, which he then fired into the security camera, disabling it. These actions allowed him 28.3 seconds completely unmonitored. Once function returned to the camera, the room appeared to be empty. One surveillance specialist went in to confirm his absence. However, upon opening the door, she realized that the prototype had hidden in one of the camera's blind spots. The prototype attempted to escape through the open door. However, another surveillance specialist was able to remotely relock the door, despite the other specialists still being inside. One casualty occurred. The prototype seems to possess an unprecedented level of intelligence beyond that of all other test subjects, as well as an alarming willingness to commit violence. Further suppression treatments will need to be enacted to ensure that no other experiments develop these qualities. Experiment 1170, Huggy Wuggy, remains the optimal outcome due to his sufficient intelligence paired with maximum obedience. End of log.
With Mommy gone, the investigator finds Poppy. She was different now, quieter. She thanked them, promised to help them leave. This time, there was a moment of trust. The subject boarded the train, but the systems went haywire. Something malfunctioned. The speeds redlined. The emergency brake had to be pulled. The tunnel blurred. Derailment. And then everything goes black. It began like a dream gone sour. A commercial. Catnap, the sleepy time friend every child needs. But as the jingle faded, the reel snapped into something else. A news report. Your children aren't safe with catnap.
The wind's really scary.
I can't sleep.
Hey, we'll be okay, guys. I promise. All winds blow away. Eventually.
Catnap!
Please, help us go to sleep,
We
Catnap!
need it, Catnap.
Please help us!
Sleep, sleep, sleep.
Everyone knows Huggy Wuggy and Poppy Playtime, but are your children safe from Playtime Co.'s latest toy? What you've seen here is Playtime Co.'s own Smiling Critters, a limited series cartoon meant to celebrate the release of the toys sharing its name. Yet both now face the fire sparked by the inclusion of one key member. This is Catnap. And like the others of his line, you just pull his little tail and seems innocent enough. However, parents across the country report their children experiencing strange and often violent nightmares. And beside them, their little, grinning Catnap doll. Now, with controversy growing, Playtime Co. has announced the recall of all Catnap toys from the Smiling Critters line. His image cleared from all promotional material. But damage already done, will disappearing be that easy? The exact cause of these incidents still unknown. Only one thing appears glaringly certain. Your children are not safe with Catnap.
The message was clear. And then came the claws. There was no warning. Still barely conscious, Catnap stepped from the shadows, massive, silent. His grip like metal coils. He seized the investigator, dragging them across cold tile into a narrow steel chute. No words, no mercy, just darkness. The investigator woke up somewhere new, a trash compactor, walls groaning, they're closing in. This wasn't a malfunction, it was a trap. Seconds before compression, they escaped. This wasn't about containment, it was about sending a message. Welcome to Playcare. But Playcare was once branded as a cheerful orphanage, daycare hybrid. Playcare had been converted into a psychological testing ground. Behind the bright walls and cartoon mirrors were decay, rotting furniture, cracked floors, silence only broken by echoes. The laughter had long since died. What was left wasn't innocence. In a nearby control room, a blue VHS flickered to life. Miss Harper, a former Playcare caretaker, spoke through tears, talking about catnap and his red gas. The children were having nightmares, hallucinations. Catnap was experiment 1188. Designed as a soothing companion, catnap was once meant to help orphans sleep.
What? Catnap had the red smoke in the room. Then suddenly there is this scream. Nightmares happen, I know, but this, dilated pupils and quivering lips. The way her eyes darted around the room, and I swear, her hand in mine, it felt like her blood was boiling beneath her skin.
But something went wrong. The gas he emitted, meant to sedate, induced vivid, looping hallucinations, nightmares that felt too real. Upon reaching this orphanage, in the distance, a phone is ringing.
Hey, can you hear me? You look kind of lost. I don't want you to die, so I'm gonna help you. Check this out. Look at the tube thing on the back wall. Ready? Boom! You can use that battery to open the door.
Ollie, young, curious, too calm. He claimed the investigator seemed lost, how he didn't want him to die, so he was offering his help. But the more Ollie talked, the more questions arrived. How was he surviving? How did he know where to go? Why wasn't he afraid? How does a child survive this? He was helpful, but something didn't feel right. A cable car took the investigator deeper into Playcare. The plan was simple: reactivate a generator to move all of the red gas from one side to the other. But just when the investigator returned the power to the generator, something kills the power. Ollie calls again, telling the investigator to restore the power, he will need to reach backup generators. And Ollie had the keys. The first key led to a place called Home Sweet Home. It was anything but sweet. As the door opened, red fog poured out like breath from a corpse. The hallway seemed endless, dozens of doors left and right. But then the investigator reached a radio.
Tragic news this morning. As of 9:45 a.m., local authorities report that the body of a young boy has been found on the estate of the late Elliot Ludwig, an esteemed toy maker and originator of the Playtime company. At this time, an identity for the child awaits official confirmation. Found in an upstairs bedroom in a large duffel bag, officers on scene report that the remains appear to have been disturbed. Organs as well as key bones from the skeletal structure were reported missing from the body. It is unknown at this time whether this extraction was, in fact, the cause of death.
And the deeper the investigator got, the weirder it became. Somewhere from the distance, a phone rang. As the investigator approaches, Ollie again, urgent, terrified.
You need to run.
The investigator turned. Catnap, standing in the doorway, watching, patient, like a predator that knew it had time. He didn't strike. He let the fear fester. The investigator continues to navigate through this maze, eventually reaching a chalkboard. On it, guilt haunts you. And then reaching a room with another VHS tape, the investigator presses play.
Greetings, employees, and welcome to your first day here in Playtime. We're certain that in the days to come, you'll find your new family here every bit as loving and supportive as your own. Feel free to wander the halls, sit in the mess for lunch, or watch our children play and learn to their little hearts' content. Join the innovationists where the bounds of science are continuously pushed. or join the counselors of Playcare, whose diligence and care for our children will help shape a brighter future. Just you see. Now, every one of you has your part in that future, so should you come back tomorrow feeling unhappy for where you are or what you've done, worry not, for your supervisor is here and happy to listen. And should you come back years later, your conscience finally getting the better of you, may you descend into the dark and the dust, finding all that awaits you are incomprehensible horrors, each hungry for your return, each eager that they might find you. Perhaps they'd smile at you from a shadow, their smiling mouths full of teeth and meat and plastic, watching and waiting patiently for their turn at a warm welcome. Or perhaps they won't allow you such time to figure your place in the world you'd left, a world that's theirs now. Welcome home.
The investigator thought it was over. Then they woke up. Same place, same room. The red gas caused them to hallucinate. In a different room, a tape played, the story of a boy named Kevin. He had been part of an early orphan transfers. He was taken in, but never seen again. The researcher on the tape described him as bright, quiet, resistant. But that resistance earned him a place in the next phase of the project. He became Experiment 1322. The tape cuts out before details were shared, but the implication was clear. Playtime was using these children to experiment on. Something interesting. During the investigator's time in a home sweet home, he finds Kissy Missy sitting on a bed staring at a kid's photo. After enduring more hallucinations, the investigator reached a lift station, a way out. Then, Kissy Missy appeared.
No! Let go! They didn't do anything wrong. We're actually here to help. This place makes her tense. I'm glad that Ollie could help you get this far. He's the reason we found you at all. You deserve an explanation. Come on. Listen, I'm not your enemy, but I can't just let you leave. What's happening down here is bigger than all of us. And I need you, so we can get revenge on those monsters who've tortured you, who've tortured us. They didn't act alone. They're disciples of the original, the prototype. Do the honors? The prototype knows we're coming by now. You try to escape, he'll kill you before you ever reach that front door. He's the reason I was trapped in that god-awful case for so long. You have no idea of the things he's done. Let me help you kill him. Let me help you save everyone. We've all seen you, how capable you are. You killed Huggy. You killed Mommy. You freed me. You are perfect for this. Catnap is coming. He's the final obstacle the prototype has placed against us. We can't stay here. Keep yourself safe. Ollie will call you.
The investigator connects the backup generator, but the power isn't enough. Ollie provides another key, this time to Playcare's school, a place meant for learning, now crawling with rot. And then her voice comes through the speakers.
Wait, I recognize you. Yes, I remember. You used to work here. How are you? Alive.
Why are you still alive? It was Miss Delight, a twisted teacher model experiment. Originally, 8 were created, but she is the sole survivor. She wore a porcelain mask and carried a weapon, Barb, a club built from shattered rulers. She would say things like, "I wonder what your screams sound like." After the investigator returned power to the generator, she appeared, smashing the generator. Now she forces him to play a game of statues, only moving when unobserved. The investigator had to power up multiple doors, activate multiple nodes, while all keeping an eye on Miss Delight. The investigator eventually returns power to a maintenance door. He runs down a long hallway, reaching a door labeled restricted access. He runs inside and closes the door behind him, Miss Delight charging, but not enough time to stop. She's crushed beneath the door and killed. But the horror wasn't over just yet. The investigator traverses through the bottom floors of the school, seeing many critters chase him. He uses a flare gun to light his way to scare off the tiny monsters. But then he stumbles upon Dog Day, one of the only surviving little critters. But he's chained up in what looks like a cell.
You're Poppy's angel. Come to save us. Nothing left to save. Not here. Lord Catnap's home, Angel. Their home. A myriad pairs of eyes are on you now. Watching, waiting, hungry. They want nothing more than to crawl beneath your skin and eat away at you bit by little bit. Fill what feels empty inside themselves. That thing. Catnap. The prototype is his god, and this is what he does to heretics. These little toys follow Catnap to avoid that very fate. And in return, they are fed. We try to fight it. The prototype's control. I am the last of the smiling critters. Listen to me. You need to get out of this place. You need to live. You and Poppy can fix this. End this madness. The torment. Oh no. Oh no. Leave me. Please. Just go. Run.
Finally, with the investigator now free from the school, Ollie again calls him, this time giving him information on why Catnap is the way he is. The investigator takes another cord to power up the generator, but it's still not enough power. The next stop is the counselor's office. The investigator headed inside. and was tasked with charging multiple energy nodes to restore the power. After finding a key hidden in a vent, he pursued further, activating doors, restoring energy. The red fog was heavier now, and the facility pulsed with pressure. After climbing through a vent to activate one of the final nodes, Catnap appears again and throws him into a room. And here, another hallucination caused by the red smoke.
Do you have any idea what you're doing? Do you know what's happened here? Do you know who we once were? Do you see why we have to end this? Do you even know what's real? No, you don't.
The investigator awakens from his hallucinated state and proceeds back, connecting another power generator. But again, Ollie calls. There's just not enough power. The investigator returns to where he first met Poppy here and connects one last generator. This time, Ollie doesn't send a key. He sends a big blue battery, the one needed to power the generator, to move the red smoke. But just when the investigator inserts the blue battery, Catnap appears, stopping him, now chasing him. The investigator turns and runs to a nearby elevator. Once the elevator reaches the top, the investigator finds another VHS tape. This time, it's Sawyer talking to the prototype.
Log code 24459. In relation, experiment 1006. The prototype. Stubborn as he is, and always silent with each passing session, I'm still uncovering fresh data nonetheless. Today's discovery. End of log.
Ready to talk now, are you? I possess
A question.
Go ahead.
Do you feel anything?
This question referred to what exactly?
You stick us, beat us, tear at flesh.
Do you feel it?
There's a secret inside you, 1006. Valuable beyond all measure. I cut and prod and burn at it, and I get closer with each session. So speak, or don't. Fight, or give in. Regardless, I learn something new about you every day. It excites me.
Thank you.
You thank me?
Absolutely. I learn something new about you every day.
Once the tape finishes, the investigator reaches a room with multiple batteries laid across the floor. Poppy comes in over the intercom, saying there's no time to waste. She teaches the investigator how to use the steam to combat the upcoming fight. She warns him that he will hallucinate. Red smoke is covered, filling this entire area, and the only way to tell the real one from the fake one was to use the flare gun. The investigator powered up the computer. The fog spread, vision blurred. Then Catnap appeared. Then again and again. Only one was real. The investigator used control panels to release bursts of superheated steam, repelling the real Catnap. Meanwhile, the central computer system began charging, but it needed more power. To continue, the investigator was forced to activate additional energy nodes, exposing himself further. But more Catnaps came. They were in front of him, behind him, above him. Catnaps everywhere. He frantically used his flare gun to tell the real from the fake, but it seemed unending. Yet, the investigator endured. Finally, with the computer completely charged, he used his green grab pack to absorb the electricity spewing out of the machine. And then, he hit Catnap with it. Catnap, injured, desperate. There were no tricks left. He charged. But then, the prototype appeared. Catnap sacrifices himself. A bladed, limp hand pierces Catnap's body and lifts him off the floor, dragging him into the shadows. With Catnap gone, the investigator heads back downstairs and reactivates the machine. Here, he meets up with Poppy. And this is where Poppy finally tells him the truth. She hands him a VHS tape called The Hour of Joy.
Every moment of it. It went on so long, so agonizingly long. They tried to hide, to run, anything to stay alive. I remember their cries. What's going on? Why is this happening? What are those things? Senseless slaughter, that's all it really was. They killed everyone. The guilty, the innocent, didn't matter. All of that death didn't fix anything. And then, once it was all over, they dragged those corpses down below where they'd never be found. And they ate the bodies to stay alive. Prototype has to die. For everything.
Poppy and Kissy walked towards the elevator. Poppy told Kissy to wait behind. The investigator and Poppy stood on the elevator. But it didn't rise. It descended.
Once we hit the ground, we need to be cautious. There's something... What? What's she doing? This is... No! No! We're coming! on ahead. Don't wait for me. I won't leave Kissy behind, and I won't sacrifice our plan. Not because of me. Just be careful. Down here, it's not like anything you've seen above. It's not trying to hide what it is. It's hell. And Playtime wanted it to be. But we have allies down here. Get to them.
After hearing Poppy's warning, a weird VHS tape crackled to life.
Dolly the Dough Man!
He stretch you, he scum you, he squish you, he's fun you. D-O-E-Y. He's silly, he's goo you, he's sticky, he's glue you. Love him till the day that you die.
This one! I don't open this one!
There's a card too, dear. Open the card.
We're going to the Playtime factory?
That's right, honey.
Yes!
Everyone shut down the machine! Somebody shut off that camera!
Doughy the Dough Man, otherwise known as Doughy, was a toy experiment created by Playtime Co. As a soft-spoken guardian and de facto leader of the Safe Haven survivors, Doughy was unique among the experiments created under the Bigger Bodies initiative. Unlike most other experiments, Doughy was not a single individual. He was created from 3 separate children.
After a brief interruption, we've successfully extracted subject 1322, specifically 1322B, from the Home Sweet Home. Before said interruption, I attempted to detail the subject's condition and overview the suitability of one Kevin Barnes in relation to Project Doughy. The neural abnormalities noted in Dr. Newman's report are detailed in connection to behavioral issues demonstrated within play care. Trouble getting along with others, aggressive and often confrontational social tendencies, and an otherwise combative nature clearly relay that Kevin is, put simply, a problem child. What friends he does have, he's reported to have attacked in moments of intense play. These tendencies raise concerns. The subject excels in all physical tests. Reflexes, reaction time, and mental fortitude all tested well above average in game station examinations. So, in spite of said concerns, in Dr. Sawyer's eyes, Kevin is ideal for the project. However, if his use in this particular experiment is to move forward, we need to ensure we're not creating a time bomb just as we've begun stabilizing the entire project. If we're to create an experiment that can fulfill multiple assigned roles, we can't allow any single consciousness to throw the others off. Even a simple misregulation of emotions means we have 900 pounds of dough that can shift however it pleases and can turn on even those it trusts, simply because it was overwhelmed by a stray feeling. Regardless, Sawyer's word is law, and subjects 1322A and C are to be gathered for processing first thing tomorrow morning. Thus, all we can do is plan our safeguards accordingly. Yes, that's all we can do.
Matthew Hollard, Kevin Barnes, and Jack Ayers, designated collectively as Experiment 1322. His design was built to embody multiple behavior traits and potentially serve multiple utility functions, including shapeshifting. Matthew Hollard was 15 years old. He was a kind and empathetic teenager known in Playcare as a role model among the children. His thoughtful nature and emotional strength were the backbone of Dewey's compassion and leader-like demeanor. But behind the calm, Matthew harbored deep insecurities stemming from the trauma of losing his family. Kevin Barnes was labeled a problem child. His range and volatility made him dangerous to himself and others. Kevin's personality was largely suppressed inside Dowie. Ayers was the youngest, innocent, playful, and the original owner of the Dowie the Dough Man toy. He fell into a vat of dough during a tour in the factory in 1993, the tape that was just shown. Jack's fragment inside Dowie retained his childlike wonder and longing for home. In his darkest breakdowns, Dowie could be heard crying out for his mother and father. Physically, Dowie resembled a multicolored dough-like creature. His main body was blue with stubby red legs and multicolored arms. His friendly demeanor masked a tragic reality, as within him lived three fractured minds trying to coexist. The investigator now sees his first sign of resistance. From the shadows, many Huggies, malformed and childlike, moved in swarms. Their eyes gleamed with intelligence, obedience, coordination. They kept ahead of him, walking through a decayed toy graveyard. Heaps of broken dolls and shredded manuals. A scratched tape offered instructions. A flare gun. Last resort for clearing a path when all others were lost. It was used quickly. When the hair hissed, the many Huggies fled. Here, he found documents detailing a kid named Riley. Riley was chosen, experimented on, and turned into a monster. The investigator reached an old train control chamber. The phone rings. It's Ollie again, offering a warning. All the bodies that he's seen, everything, has happened from inside this place. To not let his guard down for even a moment.
Everything you've seen out here, the piles, the dead, they all came from inside. Believe me, everything Poppy said about this place is true. It's hell. But she also hasn't seen it like I have. It's worse now. Worse than ever. Just try to stay safe. But don't let your guard down for even a second. I'll try to help you when I can.
Here, the investigator finds Riley's dead body with a key in its stomach. The kid swallowed it. The resolve to do this, to keep it safe, is unthinkable. Before boarding the train, another VHS tape.
Hey, Cole.
Hey, Norm.
2 o'clock, huh? Best time of the day.
Yeah.
So, what block are you again?
North.
Can't say I hear much about that one.
You wouldn't.
High security?
Highest security.
Cushy. No, we get in the east. Toys banging on the walls, crying for their parents, their counselors, whatever. It goes all day and night, and it just wears on you, you know? I'd kill for a little security. And quiet.
Right. Right. Know what we get in the North? Things. Whatever they aren't people anymore. Their cells might as well be cages. They are animals. Sick. Twisted. Just instincts and anger. That's all that's left of them.
Sure, but at least then it's not like yelling at your own kids for them to be quiet, though, you know? I mean, if you had to listen to them. Oh, great.
So much for our 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we really do have it rough, don't we?
The investigator boarded the train. But then the train monitor came to life with a voice smooth as static and twice as cruel. Dr. Harley Sawyer, long thought dead, spoke like he had been waiting.
Now what's this? Do I feel something squirming its way beneath my skin? An invasive foreign little germ. After all this time? Ah, but I see. You. Well, little germ, let's make a game of you. If blundered along the shadows above, and only managed to squirm all the way down here by the barest skin of your teeth, there are no shadows here that will be of use to you. Not even the ground beneath your feet is yours. There are no places you can hide. Not from me.
His tone was bitter theater, but he watched everything. The investigator was his entertainment. The doctor wasn't a mascot. He was the man who made the monsters and then became one. Dr. Harley Sawyer, once the head of the special projects at Playtime Co., wasn't interested in toys. He was interested in immortality, in control, in breaking the human form down and rebuilding it bigger, better, obedient. In 1990, he proposed the Bigger Bodies Initiative, a plan to replace the human workforce with grotesquely oversized toy organism hybrids. It would save money, avoid lawsuits, and give Sawyer the perfect excuse to continue his experiments on the company's orphans and employees, quietly. He believed that Playtime's secret, its real secret, was buried inside Experiment 1006, the prototype. He wanted to unlock it, to own it. But genius makes enemies. Leith Pierre, one of the company's executives, had Sawyer removed after too many errors, missing children, unstable fusions, warning signs ignored. And then they turned him into the doctor. Not a toy, something worse. His mind was transferred into a network of life support chambers, his brain, lungs, and liver suspended in tanks scattered throughout the lower prison. He became Experiment 1354, known as the Doctor. What remained was no longer human. His voice came through monitors, his eye flickered on broken screens. He controlled machines like fingers, whispered through wires, and he didn't forget. Sawyer survived the hour of joy, the uprising that left hundreds dead. But he didn't just survive, he adapted. He allied with the very thing that tore the company apart, the prototype. Sawyer was made warden of the lower levels, a decaying prison built to house the failed. His experiments roamed freely, his voice echoed in their cells. He called the investigator a germ, a variable in a test he already rigged. The investigator navigated through the sick bed of Playtime Co., cell blocks stacked with failed experiments, sterile observation rooms stained with blood. The investigator retrieves a red grab pack hand after traversing through a small walkway. The doctor initiated one of his first tests, ordering an army of mini Huggies to attack. Dodging, running, and firing flares, the investigator barely survived the assault. Then over the intercom.
I've seen enough. Thank you.
The doctor was testing him. In the next area, a signal from Ollie tried to come through, but the interference was too strong. The message was distorted, impossible to decipher.
Hear me? Too much interference.
Pushing forward into another cell block, the doctor tested the investigator again, this time filling the room with thick red smoke. The same red smoke from catnap. Spotting a nearby pipe, the investigator breaks it, dropping down, locating a valve. After installing it and solving a nearby code, they managed to divert the gas and breathe again, safely, for now. Eventually, the investigator reaches a group of cell blocks. The doctor's voice returns.
The others he faced, 1170, 1188, 1222. Been there, done that. Let's try our hand at something a little different. Oh, Yarnaby. Please, do keep making this enjoyable for me. I'll be taking notes.
But this was interesting. It's almost as if the doctor was hinting that we are something more than human. Moving ahead, Yarnaby now stalked the halls. Then, a whisper. A massive hand reached from a vent to distract Yarnaby, allowing the investigator to slip by. Sneaking carefully, he moves past Yarnaby. And another cassette. Dropping from another vent, they were chased by Yarnaby once more. But again, a friendly hand unlocks the door at the last second. The investigator escaped, eventually falling into a pit with Pianosaurus. The creature charged, but something grabbed him and killed him.
Now that hit the spot. I haven't eaten in weeks. Hiya there, pal. Don't worry, I won't eat you. I'm Doey. I was told to expect you. This way, follow me.
This is the first time Doey appears. He seemed friendly, perhaps too friendly, but he saved the investigator, so they followed him. Dewey stretched his body to form bridges, helping the investigator cross gaps. Reaching a room too small for the player to pass through, Dewey slipped through a crack. The player worked to pry open the door with hooks to catch up. Beyond it, Dewey powered a generator to open the next door. Safe haven was close, but before they could reach it, Kissy, Missy, and Poppy pulled the player into another room.
Showers. We should be able to make it into the safe haven from there.
Inside a fortified chamber, rigged with defenses and scavenged batteries, the survivors gathered. Kissy Missy, wounded but still upright. Doey looked at Poppy like he was seeing a ghost, and in a way, he was. But the reunion didn't last long. Outside, The prototype's spindly silhouette passed through the floodlights like a storm cloud, but the prototype didn't enter. Not yet. Inside Safe Haven, Poppy revealed the truth. The orphans weren't killed during the hour of joy. They were taken down into the labs. They're alive, she whispered, but sleeping. If we're to stop him, we destroy the Foundation. The red canisters scattered across Playcare weren't just power, they were explosives. The plan was simple: collapse the prototype's control. In the generator room, Dowie was quieter, colder. When asked about the doctor, his voice was low. He created them. He worked with the prototype now. He starved them, poisoned them, controls everything with something called the Omni Hand. It was more than a grab pack. It was the master key to the entire facility. But Dowie disagreed with the plan. He wanted to stop the prototype, while not destroying the few lives he was still protecting. The investigator reached a giant steel door, but only found Yarnaby. As they tried to restore power, Yarnaby hunted them. Eventually, through trial and error, the power was restored. Once the door opened, Yarnaby chased them again. The investigator, running with all his might, uses his grab hand to swing across a pit of fire. Yarnaby, caught on the hook, falls in and dies almost instantly. Taking a tube downward, the investigator found Dowie, frozen in ice. This was his weakness. They had diverted the gas and thawed him. Through a maze of puzzles and testing chambers, the doctor returned. This time, the choice was cruel. Kill a toy that was once human, or die to the gas. But the investigator found a third path. They found a way to save both. Then, at last, the doctor appeared. If you could call it that. He wasn't a man anymore. He was just a brain, lungs, and liver suspended in glass, directing machines with flickering eyes. But power had to be restored to reach him. The investigator ran from his mechanical clones, restoring nodes one by one until they reached the doctor's mainframe. Powering it down, the doctor was defeated, but his final warning: you've saved no one. But the Omni Hand was theirs. The investigator took the cable car back towards Safe Haven. Once the investigator was inside Safe Haven, we can see Dowie and Poppy disagreeing again on how to take down the prototype. But then we hear Ollie screaming.
You there? What's... He's outside! Ollie? He's outside! Who? Who's... Oh no. You need to distract him, Dowie. Please. Keep him away from here.
Without the generator.
I know, but he can't get in here. Not now. Just buy us some time. You'll have to fix the generator. Work quickly. You won't have a lot of time.
But I...
Trust us, Dowie. Trust me.
Just get the generator working. Please.
Dowie ran to stall the prototype. The investigator and Ollie worked to restore the generator. But now it was time for the explosives. The investigators collected the explosives one by one. And as the final charges were planted, another VHS tape played. The child falling into a vat of dough.
Sir, ma'am,
I ask that you remain calm whenever you interact with the patient. He's only been awake a few days now. In many respects, he's still adjusting.
Is that him? Is that my boy?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Oh, George! That's our boy! Jackie!
Why does he look like that? What did you do to him?
Stop it, George. Just stop. That's our son in there. Our son!
Dear, look at it. That's not even human.
Let's just talk to him. You'll see. Let's just go in there and talk to him. Can we? Can we talk to him?
Yes, ma'am, you certainly can. Go on in, whenever you're ready.
Jack? Jack, I want you to know. I'm so sorry. I've never forgiven myself for what happened. I've played it all back a million times in my head, and I know there had to be something I could have done. I could have reached just a little further. I could have noticed a little sooner. I could have. But we have you back now. That's what's important. We can...
Who are you?
Jack? Honey, it's me. It's Mommy.
Mommy?
Yes. Yes! It's Mommy and Daddy. You remember, don't you?
Leave me alone.
Hey, you'll be okay, I promise. Mommy's only here to talk.
No, I don't want to talk. Get out!
Susan, I think we should leave.
Jackie, I'm staying right here. I'm not leaving you. Not ever again. Do you hear me?
The gentle voices lie. I know what they do. They lie, and they poke, and they hurt. Susan, get away from me!
Jack? Mommy won't lie to you, Jackie. Mommy won't hurt you. I'd never hurt you.
Hey! Open this door! Oh, God. Susan! Please! Open the door! Please!
Investigator initiated the gas overflow sequence and tried to escape. Everything was going to plan. Until it wasn't. Chased again by many Huggies, the investigator barely reached the elevator in time. Dowie found them. He asked if they'd seen the prototype. Then the truth hit.
I let him away, didn't I? The generator's fine. It's... Oh, no.
Back at Safe Haven, screams. The prototype had breached the stronghold. Everyone was dead. The entire area destroyed. Dowie broke. Here, he fractured into his split personalities, rage, grief, guilt. And after a rock falls on top of them, he turns into something worse. His body twisted, his voice split. He became a monster. He attacked. The investigator ran, using frozen capsules to freeze Dewey and using a saw to cut him down. But he returned again, forcing one last fight.
You and Poppy! It's all your fault! We're to kill you! Kill everyone who hurts us!
Frozen a second time, Dewey was crushed beneath a drill. But as he died, he spoke one last time.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He apologized. The investigator continued on and found a slide that led to Poppy.
Ollie! Can you hear me? Ollie! You! What did you do? Why did you kill Dowie? Do you even understand what happened? The prototype, Did you even plant the explosives? Ollie! Ollie, answer me! Please. Ollie! Something's gone horribly wrong. The safe haven...
Shelf ventilation block B6. Is this where you are, Poppy?
What?
Stay where you are.
And listen closely. You're not going to run. You're not going to fight. The charade is over.
Who is this?
An obvious question with an obvious answer.
You. What did you do with Ollie?
I'm right here, Poppy.
For you,
I'll always be
here.
The doctor, Catnap, Mommy and Huggy, they're all dead. You have nothing now. No one. And soon, you'll have less than that.
Stop that.
You don't need to pretend anymore.
Poppy. You don't need to play at being stronger than you are. You can come home.
How much do you know?
Everything.
This isn't right. All those years. Was there ever an Ollie?
Yes, there was.
But that was a very long time ago. Let me tell you what comes next.
I'm going to
Come up there.
and I'm going to
Find you. Your collaborators. The few you have left, they will be dealt with.
What are you going to do with me?
I've got something special in mind.
I prepared it just for you.
And this one.
You will never want to leave.
No. No, no, no. This entire time. You've lied to me!
Only because you've kept
Missing the
point. I've taken the liberty of retrieving those explosives from the Foundation. Thanks for collecting them.
those, by the way. I've put them to good use. I admit, though, I'm disappointed.
After all that time in your case, I'd hoped you'd see things
Differently. Don't you understand?
It's always been about you
And we'll hobby you.
what we are.
That's not a truth that can be burnt away. No, not when it can mean so much more.
Prototype. Please.
It's time to come home.
Poppy.
It's time to come home.
back in the case. I can't. I'm sorry.
Some friend, huh?
Don't worry, I'll find her.
As for you two, try to land on your feet.
And the biggest surprise revealed, Ollie was never real. Maybe once, but he was the prototype, pretending to be Ollie to keep tabs on Poppy, on Kissy, on Doughy. The ultimate manipulation. Luckily for the investigator, Kissy saved him from the explosives, and he landed somewhat safely. The investigator pushes forward until reaching another VHS, but this one was different. It was Pierre. Like the first VHS found, he says, if you're lost, find a worker and they'll lead you to safety. But soon he drops his facade, stating this is the most high security place of the factory.
When someone finds you down here, you will be shot. And before you get any ideas, don't think you can just sneak away either. No, the second you put this tape in, it set off an alarm. So if anyone's home, they know exactly where you are. Pretty nifty, huh? Security is very important to us here. If I were you, I'd start running.
This case is ongoing. But if you've seen anything, you know where to find me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God, I need a drink.